Hello, my name's David Webb and this is a video for Dweebovision. Owing to a microphone malfunction, we pick up the action 5 minutes into the game with me having a 70-point lead. I've been pondering if I have a bingo with this rack. I don't think I do. So I'll be looking to play off the V. And I'm looking around for good spots to play the V and struggling to see one. I could play Vicar in column 14 and making Releaser. But Releaser does take an S, so that's not such a great play. 24 points for my opponent. Now I'm looking at the triple letter square above the A of Morby. I could place my D there, so I could play... I was thinking about Vid, but IM's no good. So probably Cod, but then that would keep the V. I could play Derv in column 10. But that's not going to score very much. I feel I ought to be able to get at least 20 points with this rack. Morby has blocked co-drive. Now I'm looking in column 10 to see if I've got a tile to go in front of OF, which I do with the O and the D. So I could play Dove or Dover. But again, the score's going to be pretty low. This is a surprisingly difficult rack to deal with. I'd like to play off quite a lot of tiles. I don't think I've got a 6-letter play in row D, finishing under the M of Morby. So what about playing Dove? This has the advantage of providing nothing for my opponent. 17 points. I think I'll play the R as well, just because L and R together aren't great. So 18 points. Yeah, I suspect there is a better play than this. Not a good rack at all. I now do have duplicate tiles and I have a vowel consonant imbalance. But I do have a 60 to 70 point lead. My scoring tile is the C. So Orlick is good. That would leave 2 vowels, so not great. Nice bingo by my opponent. He's only provided the O as a floater. The I of onlyness is not helpful for this rack in terms of reaching the triple word square. Now I can play Orlick across here. And this board's getting a bit tight, so I quite like the idea of opening it up a bit. Given that we're so close, Orlick for 18. I'm providing 2 openings here, row L across here and column 15. If my opponent's got an H or a K, I could get punished. But otherwise it's not too dangerous. I have Vitrain. That plays in row L, making tan. I don't think Vitrain has any anagrams. And I can't see anywhere else to play it, so I hope my opponent does play in column 15, because that will leave row L available. And I can play it in row L to make tie and done, so the play will get doubled. I'm wondering if I've got a bingo through the O of onlyest. So I've got the Asian ending, A-T-I-O-N. So nearly variation, but not quite. And do I have anything through the C of Orlick? I don't think so. And I can't see anywhere else for Vitrain to play apart from row L. If that is blocked, I've got Vinik in column 15. That will score well and leave a decent rack leave of ART. 30 points, that would net. I'm looking around in case there are any floaters I haven't considered. There's the R of release and the O of Dovers. Well, my opponent, I think, has blocked Vitrain, which is hugely annoying. And he's probably done so inadvertently. Yeah, I'm just checking all of the overlaps of Orlick in case there is one which works and there isn't. So I'm going to play Vinik. I hope I haven't missed a bingo through this C. Oxo doesn't take anything in front of it, so 30 points. Well, my great rack leave has not been rewarded. This is pretty awful. Not many floaters on this board. I do have an O for going after Ox. So I could play Yo, Oi and Oxo. That would score quite well. It would be nice to play off one more vowel. So I could play Iot in that spot. That would score more points. Rack leave of O-R-E. O-R-A rather. I don't think I have a bingo here through any floater. Although I do have the aero prefix with toy. I don't know of any four-letter extensions to Vinik. I note that the triple letter square at J14 is quite hot. In between those two I's, a five-letter play onto the double word square at N14 would score quite well. Great, that's been blocked, and only 25 points for my opponent. And the IOT spot remains available. Now, is there an alternative play? What about Otary? No, I think it is IOT. ORA, not a disastrous leave. Only one O unseen. 37 points is a great score. Well, I pick up that only remaining O, and I have a whole bunch of vowels, and I have no scoring tiles, and my lead is just 13 points. And the board is quite tight, which I guess is in my favour. It limits my opponent's bingo prospects. Now, a play of Uri would sort this rack out, leaving just a E. But I can't see anywhere to play that at the moment. It would be good to keep the R and just play vowels. But there are not many available consonants. I could play veto in row G, playing off just the E and the O. But a 4-vowel 1-consonant leave is not good. Doff takes an F after it. I could play Uri in row G, but that's placing a vowel above the double letter square at H4, which is pretty dangerous, given, especially since we are so close in score. Although it would take out a good bingo lane. I could play Uri in row D, but that doesn't get doubled. And again, it places a vowel next to a premium square. To a U, I would have Uoi. No U's available. There's still one blank and two S's out there. And I note that this triple letter square here is available for the Q, which has not been played yet, for a 60-point play. That would be a good argument for turning over a lot of tiles. Well, great. My opponent removes that possibility and only scores 8 points. Now I'm looking in row M to see if I can take advantage of placing one of my vowels underneath the K. Don't think I can. I've got 10 minutes left. There are 36 tiles in the bag. Well, I think I will play Uri across here. It's pretty dangerous, but I think I do want to play off a lot of tiles, and I can't see a safe way of doing that. Uri does take a T in front. There are 3 T's out there, so this might be quite reckless. But what else can I do? I just can't see anywhere any alternative plays. 9 minutes left. Well, the high tile turnover has paid off in that I've picked up the second blank. And I have baggies and baggier. Does either one of those play? I'm just wondering about Guri, G-O-O-R-I-E. I thought it was just a T which goes in front. Now I do have baggier in row G, making and re, which is good. Do I have any other bingos? And I think I just need to look for 7s because there are so few floaters. And baggier remains available. Fantastic. My opponent's provided a C as a floater. That's not helpful for me. I think I'll play this quite quickly. I don't see any reason not to. And this is great because it takes out the best bingo lane. Baggier, 66 points. Yeah, I don't think there's any other sensible bingo lane to consider. Well, I guess row C might have been, but then that would open up column 1, so I think this is best. All 1-point tiles. I have got a 60-point lead. Can't see a 7-letter bingo with this rack. I could play intern in column 8, 21 points. That would provide a floating R and N. But an N is not the most dangerous tile to place at 08 because most bingos don't begin or end with N. Now, do I have anything at H1 across? Well, nothing more than 3 letters because I've got nothing which goes underneath the G. So I could play 10 in that spot. My opponent has lost contact or quit. The game has been adjudicated in my favour. And the final score, 206 to my opponent, 273 to me, a winning margin of 67 points. Let's see what I missed. So, it was me to go first. I saw a release. I didn't see anything else. What was there? Wow, it looks like release was the only bingo with that rack. I'm surprised. This was my opponent's rack. He played Befits. And then this was a tricky rack. Wow, Cymer available for 45 points. Gosh, down here. Horrendous rack leave, IOU, but 45 points is a lot. What I did instead was played Morby for 30, 15 fewer points, retaining a C rather than a U. Well, that rack leave difference is not worth 15, but it is worth something. So I think Cymer probably was the play there. Nice rack for my opponent. Did he have a bingo? Wow, no he didn't. Okay, well that's pretty good. Morby blocked pot lines and pointels, and probably some other bingos playable through these E's. Now this was my rack. Cover lid. Wow, superb bingo. Well done if you spotted that. I didn't. Corvid would also have been nice in terms of sorting the rack out. I really struggled here. I played Dover. The rack lead was okay. And it's not too far behind most of these, but I think Corvid was better and Coverlid was a lot better. Difficult one to spot though, a 5-3 compound word. Nice rack for my opponent. He bingos with Onlyest, and this was my rack. And I played Orlick at K11, and I think that's fine. My opponent's rack, he played Oxo, blocking Vitrain, I think. Yeah, and I played Vinik for 30. I could have got 3 more points for Vinca or Vitric, but ART probably a slightly better rack leave than IRT or AN, but not much between those moves. My opponent's rack, he played Kuri, and this was my rack. Rooty L4, where's that? Oh wow, across here, placing the Y on this double letter square. I didn't consider that. I played IOT for 37. Certainly Toyo. Well, Toyo may have been better. It's 3 fewer points, but it's retaining the E. So there's probably not much between IOT and Toyo, but Rooty is a lot better. This was my opponent's rack. He's got Ann Laces. Not sure there's anywhere for that to play. Nope, there isn't. So that's the second time he was thwarted in terms of playing a bingo. Now, this was my rack, horrendous. I played Uri at D5 for 10 points. Yeah, and I think that's fine. This was my opponent's rack. He still has Ann Laces. He played an A and must have picked one up. Anywhere to play it? No. He plays Can, and this was my Baggier rack, which was the only playable bingo. I'm surprised. And although some options are appearing above Baggier, the blank's worth about 25 points, so there's actually not much between these plays. And if there's not much between a bunch of plays, I'm inclined to take the one with the biggest points, or the better rack leave. But Baggier certainly had a lot more points than the others. And then this was my opponent's rack, and this is the point at which he quit. What could he have done? Well, not very much. No plays over 20 points. Well, just not a lot going, but some pretty straightforward plays to leave decent rack leaves and to give himself options for future moves. And the game wasn't lost from his point. He was only a bingo behind. So it's a bit of a shame that he quit, but that was his choice, and he did. So we didn't get a complete game there, but I think it was an interesting game. There were a couple of racks which were really quite hard to sort out, the Uri rack and the Morby one. And even the Orlick one was tricky, given that the C opened up column 15. But I think the discussion about those racks raised the various considerations that need to be taken into account when considering moves. And in a lot of these cases, the best moves, or there were quite a few similar moves with different characteristics. So I hope you enjoyed watching that video and got something out of it. My name is David Webb, and this has been a video for Dweebovision.